Hi, welcome to the Spiritual Connection Show. I'm your host, Katie Augustyn. So I'm a transformation coach, I'm an energy healer, and I'm a shamanic practitioner. I'm also the spiritual head of Transformation Center CT, which is located in Westport, Connecticut. So at the center, we do a variety of workshops, we have trainings, we have retreats, we also have individual sessions on coaching and healing. We have a shamanic clinic once a month now, the second Tuesday of each month. We also have satsang, which is Sanskrit for in the company of the truth. And that's generally held the third or fourth Wednesday of each month in the evening. And everyone is welcome to all of these events, especially if you're just beginning your spiritual journey. We welcome you because there's so much to experience and learn along the way. So tonight, we're going to talk to Dr. Tatiana Fleischman. As you know, I have a different guest on Spiritual Connection each week. And the point is really, for us to connect with each other, as well as to connect more fully with our own spiritual selves. So learn what you can and join us every week for a different guest. Thank you for being here. So Dr. Fleischman, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm really happy that you could make it. So I'm going to just read a little bit about you because our audience doesn't know you yet.
Sure.
Okay, so Dr. Fleischman is a board-certified medical doctor specializing in anti-aging, functional, and regenerative medicine. Okay. And she's actually a menopause specialist, helping women to heal the uncomfortable symptoms of menopause and hormonal imbalance using natural and safe solutions, which is very, very important. And she has a practice in Stamford, and it's called Connecticut Hormone Therapy. Yes, I'm interested to hear all about that.
Sure.
But first, could you tell us a little bit about your spiritual journey thus far, kind of how you got to where you are, why it's important for you to do what you do?
Sure.
Okay, great.
Yeah, my spiritual journey wasn't an easy one. It had its ups and downs, both physically and emotionally, but eventually, in the end, it led me to discover my true mission.
Wow.
And it all started a few years ago when I still worked as a primary care physician at the clinic. It was a busy Friday morning. By 11 o'clock, I'd seen already 15 patients. And I was writing a prescription to the last patient before my lunch break when I suddenly felt dizzy. I walked out of the room and collapsed.
Wow.
Next thing I remember, I was lying on the floor with our lovely nurse, Janice, leaning over me, totally terrified and asking, Dr. Fleischman, are you okay? Should I call 911? I was the only physician at the clinic that day.
Wow.
So I don't know how I put myself together, but somehow I did. I was even able to finish my shift.
Wow.
But that total collapse that day, as dramatic as it was, shouldn't have been a big surprise. I hadn't been feeling well for at least a year. First, I lost my sleep.
I'm sorry, first what?
I lost my sleep.
Oh, you lost your sleep. You couldn't sleep.
I couldn't.
Oh, wow.
In spite of taking sleeping pills, the most I could get, 2-3 hours of sleep.
Huh.
I was exhausted.
That's not healthy.
I was exhausted all the time.
Yeah.
I stopped exercising because I didn't have any energy. I gained 30 pounds in less than a year. Yeah, I started forgetting words. I was in constant brain fog. And I had no idea while that was happening to me. So I went to my doctor, and she ran a whole bunch of tests and couldn't find anything wrong with me. I went to a few more doctors, and they were not helpful either. Some of them told me that it was a normal part of aging, and I would just have to learn to live with this. But how it could be normal?
Doesn't sound normal, and you weren't aging. I mean, you were aging, but you weren't.
I
you
was
were young.
in my 40s.
That's young.
I know, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was desperately looking for answers. It seemed like no one could help me, and I was a physician myself, and I couldn't figure out what's wrong with my body. So that day, when I collapsed at work, I came home and sat down and I started crying, because it was the lowest point in my life, physically, emotionally, spiritually. It was unbearable. And I just asked universe, please help me to find the answers. And I opened my computer, I started doing some web search, and I found a specialist in Utah. I looked at his website. He posted some patient success stories, and some of the stories were very similar to mine. So I called him the next day and scheduled an appointment.
In Utah?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, in a couple of weeks I was sitting in his office in Salt Lake City. He listened to my story and he said, Tatiana, most likely you have a major hormone imbalance, and it's been going on for a long time. So he ran some tests, and sure enough, my hormones were completely out of whack. So he prescribed me Bioidentical Hormone Replacement Therapy.
So now what is it called? Say that again.
It's Bioidentical Hormone Replacement Therapy.
Okay, Bioidentical Hormone Replacement Therapy.
That is
so
correct.
What does that mean? What is that?
It's natural hormones.
Okay. So
it's just supplementation, natural hormone supplementation.
okay. So it's hormones that come from your body?
No, they come from a plant.
Oh, I see.
They come from a plant, so that's why they call it natural.
I see. Okay.
And I started taking this. And long story short, in less than a month, I was back to normal self.
Oh my goodness.
I was
wow.
sleeping through the night, my energy was back.
That's amazing.
I started losing weight, I started exercising, and the most important, I started traveling. It's my passion.
Oh, so you got your life back, basically.
Exactly. So I went to India just to learn some spiritual practices, meditation and yoga. I went to Peru to hike the Inca Trail. I always wanted to do this, and I did it. I hiked all the way up to Machu Picchu.
Wow.
And I remember that moment when I was standing there, taking in the views and the mountains, the air, and I had like a moment of truth. I realized that I was rescued from this suffering for a reason, for a bigger mission. So I could pull others like me out of the pain and help them to get their lives back. And at that very moment, I decided to become a hormone specialist.
Oh, that's wonderful.
On my way home, yes, and on my way home, I called my doctor who magically transformed my life, let's say, and I asked him to become my mentor. He happened to be a world-renowned expert in bioidentical hormone replacement therapy, and he agreed, so I was very happy. And I learned a lot from him. Also, I took a lot of courses and certifications in anti-aging, functional, and regenerative medicine. That's how I became a specialist.
I see. So that's
Yeah.
really a wonderful story.
And then I quit my job
At the clinic.
at the clinic, and I opened my own practice.
And how long ago was that? How many years ago?
It was 4 years ago.
Okay.
It was 4 years ago, and I made it my mission to educate and help people, because there are so many people are suffering in vain, and they go from doctor to doctor like I did without getting any help, but help is available.
That's amazing. So do people refer, do other doctors refer patients to you, or how do people find you?
They find me online, other doctors refer, yes, and I give some talks. So on YouTube, people find me on social media.
And here you are tonight, being on the show. Maybe people
That's
will find
right.
you. So that's a terrific service, and you've really made that your mission.
Yeah, and I'm really...
And you look, I mean, you're a walking testament to the work you do, because you look so healthy and, and young.
But I've never always been like this.
Right.
I enjoy my energy and my life, but it's never been like this. It's for the last few years, yes.
Yes.
I keep enjoying my life, and
so it was just a momentary blip where you didn't have your energy when you were not feeling well.
Yeah, it's been for a couple of years
that you've been
I was
better.
Looking for the answers why.
Oh, while you were not feeling well.
No one could even tell me why.
That's a long time to suffer. A couple of years. Yeah.
It is a long time. That's what I see, and I've lost count of the women who think that their agonizing symptoms are nothing to do with hormone imbalance and menopause. And
so why don't regular physicians test for hormonal imbalance, I wonder?
They do, but they think that it's normal. This is a thing. They keep telling that it's normal. Menopause is not a disease.
Okay, so they don't feel like they have to do anything about it.
It's a normal phase of our life. So they think that that we have to deal with this.
Right, and not everyone wants to have hormone replacement therapy.
Unfortunately, no, because a lot of people think that hormones are dangerous or unsafe, or they're just unaware.
Right, it's not, they're just not aware of the facts around
unaware,
it.
And they don't know about benefits that hormone replacement therapy can give to women and men, and benefits are tremendous. The benefits even.
So what are some of the benefits? Besides, I mean, you've talked about how it benefited you. In general, what are the benefits?
In general, the hormones not only help you to completely eliminate all symptoms of menopause and andropause in men, but they also help us to protect us from many diseases. Like, for example, heart disease. It kills more women than any other illness. About half of all women in the United States die from heart disease. And by studying estrogen within the first few years of menopause, women can decrease their risk of having a heart attack by as much as 50%.
Wow, that's quite significant.
Right, and estrogen not only protects your heart, it protects your brain. It protects against cognitive decline, even against Alzheimer's disease. Because many people think of Alzheimer's as a disease of old age. And not so many know that Alzheimer's is linked to hormone deficiency. Not just women, but men too. For example, men who have low testosterone are 3 times more likely to develop Alzheimer's. And women on hormone replacement therapy are 50% less likely to develop Alzheimer's disease.
Wow.
So it means that by optimizing hormones, we can prevent lots of Alzheimer's.
Yeah, well, that's fascinating.
Osteoporosis, it's another issue that is linked to
osteoporosis.
Osteoporosis linked to hormone deficiency, and the statistics is very disturbing. About 50% of women after 65 who suffer hip fracture die within 2 years, and it's totally preventable disease. Just by optimizing hormones, we can prevent bone loss and osteoporosis and
so when
lives.
is it when is the optimal time to start this hormone replacement therapy? Does it have to be at the beginning of menopause for women? And what
For
about
women, yes. There is a window, 10 years window, basically 10 years after the menopause starts. It's the best time to start. For men, we can start anytime.
Okay, well that's
There is
interesting.
no window.
So, I mean, like in my case, then there would be no advantage to getting my hormone level tested or anything. I don't really feel like I have any health issues right now, but when you talk about preventative uses of hormone replacement therapy, that kind of is interesting to me, but is it kind of too late now to start if I wanted to?
It depends on hormones. So estrogen, yes, it's too late. I don't suggest to start taking estrogens after 60 or 10 years after the menopause, either natural or surgical.
Okay.
But for example, women to live healthy lives need to balance all three hormones: estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone.
Oh, right.
So progesterone and testosterone, you can start even after 60 and you will see these benefits. Like, for example, my mom started doing this when she was 77.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And she really enjoys.
And how's she doing now?
She's doing amazing.
Wow.
Especially in terms of her energy. She's doing she's supplementing only testosterone, and unfortunately not so many physicians and women know about the tremendous benefits of this hormone. They think that testosterone is just a male hormone,
only for men.
but it's not. But you will be surprised to know that
we all have it,
and you will be surprised to know that testosterone is the most abundant hormone in women.
I am very surprised to hear that.
For example, a 20-year-old woman makes 10 times more testosterone than estrogen.
Seriously?
Yes. No one knows, you see.
No.
But however,
That's
as a woman approaches menopause, it starts to decline.
So I will definitely call you for an appointment.
And all the
I mean, it doesn't hurt to find out, right? Like
it doesn't, because
tested.
the majority of the symptoms, like low energy, fatigue, brain fog,
Well, I don't have that.
memory.
but
We're not
but I
talking
feel
about
like I
you. We're
could.
talking about other people, but they do have, and they don't know that it's all linked to hormone imbalances. Typically, testosterone deficiency in both men and women have the same symptoms.
So do you treat more women than men generally, or about the same in your practice?
Mostly women.
Mostly women?
Mostly women, 90% of women.
Because the men just aren't aware of it.
They're unaware of it, and yes, they just don't want to admit that something is wrong with their masculinity.
Oh, well, that's a good point.
I think in the majority of men, they're just brought by their women, because I treat couples.
Oh, okay.
You know, when you treat woman and she starts feeling better,
Right,
she wants
her husband to feel better.
Her husband feel better too.
That makes sense.
More energy, more
Yeah.
things to do. And
I think that's really, really interesting, and it could be helpful for so many people.
oh, absolutely,
It's great to
because lots of people don't know about all the benefits.
Huh.
They always think that hormones it's something bad because of.
So where did that myth come from? Or is it a myth, or is it just certain, research studies that have shown? Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I always hear this question, because almost every person who comes to my practice, they say, oh, hormones, cancer, no. So lots of people think that hormones are dangerous, mostly from the media hype, and sometimes they even learn from their own doctors who are misinformed.
I see.
And this misconception comes from a study. It's called the Women's Health Initiative.
Okay.
In 2002, the results of this study were released, and they showed that women who took synthetic hormones made from horse urine and industrial chemicals had an increased risk of breast cancer, heart attack, and stroke.
Okay. I think I remember that, yeah.
Yes, the publication of these findings created a panic. Millions of women stopped their hormone therapy, literally, overnight. And lots of doctors stopped prescribing hormones. But what many doctors and women failed to understand, that this study was reporting only on artificial form of hormones, as I said, made from horse urine and industrial chemicals. And they are not even hormones, they are drugs. They're not natural to our body.
I see.
And as many drugs, they have side effects.
Right.
Increased risk of cancer and other diseases. But on the other hand, as we discussed, bioidentical natural hormones, completely different.
Okay.
They're called bioidentical because their molecular structure completely identical to human hormones.
That's amazing. And they're derived from plants?
They derive from plants, from soybeans and yams.
Soybeans and yams.
Yes, and they're so natural, so our body can see the difference. So they work exactly the same.
So there's no, in your experience, there's no risk or danger?
It's not just my experience, there is evidence. There is no evidence they increase risk of any diseases.
Okay,
Lots
so
of studies.
Have there been studies?
Lots of studies showed, and
But these studies are not publicized? Is that
they
the
are,
problem?
but this is the fear, you know.
It just takes a while.
It takes a while, exactly. And there is absolutely no evidence that natural hormones increase risk of any diseases. It's quite the opposite is true. For example, the studies show that women who take natural progesterone have significantly lower risk of breast cancer because progesterone is very protective.
I see.
So natural hormones do not cause any diseases, and just the opposite, they protect us from many diseases that we already discussed.
It sounds like it. So do the major insurance companies cover all of this treatment generally?
Generally, for men, sometimes yes. For women, they might. Yeah, you can get them using your insurance.
Yeah, that's
from
what
the
I'm
pharmacy.
wondering, because it is something that's helpful for their health. It's not like
it's not expensive. You can use your insurance. That is.
But even if you don't have insurance, it's not that expensive either.
No, not
Yeah.
expensive.
That's
it's
great.
derived from plants.
Yeah. So there do pharmaceutical companies get involved in the manufacture of it? Or who manufactures it, or not manufactures it, but derives it in?
Mostly they're made by special pharmacies. They're called compounding pharmacies.
Compounding?
Compounding pharmacies,
Okay.
yes. So they're made specifically for each patient.
Oh.
So based on your levels, they're customized. It's very convenient. We
wow.
can customize the dose specifically for every patient based on age and levels.
I see. And that's not expensive. That's amazing.
No, that's not.
Huh.
That's very affordable.
That's great. Well, it's important in this day and age because you want to make it accessible to as many people.
Absolutely, I agree.
as you
And
can.
it is
If
accessible.
it's affordable.
It's affordable, it's accessible, and help is available. It's what I want, the most important, to let
Right.
people know that help is available, that they don't have
You
to
don't have
suffer.
silently.
No, silently, and
And it
like I
doesn't
did,
Yeah.
and going from doctor to doctor and without getting any help.
Right, and there's no downside.
There is no downside. There is absolutely. They're not putting you at any risk. So, and they have so many benefits. Why not to
Yeah.
take them? And some of my patients, like I have a patient, she's 76 years old. She's been on hormones for over 25 years. She looks amazing. She still works. She's very active. She works as a Spanish teacher at the university. She's 76, but her students think that she is in her 50s because of her youthful energy. She's been on hormones for 25
years.
years, and she has no intention to stop them anytime soon because she enjoys her active lifestyle, youthful energy, and the freedom from chronic diseases.
Yeah, she feels good.
She feels.
So she must have found another doctor before she found you.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So there's some doctors who are aware of this out there.
Yes.
But you filled a real need, it sounds like. And I think that's just such a fantastic story that you made it your mission because of a personal experience that you had. And I find that happens a lot, because I talk to a lot of people on the show, and a lot of people find their mission and really their purpose in life
through their experiences.
Through their experience, either their experience or the experience of a close family member, maybe a spouse or a child, that brings them to the realization that they can help.
Yeah, and it became my passion. I'm so passionate about now, and I'm trying to educate and help as many people as I can,
wonderful.
Especially women, of course.
Well, I'm glad I met you through the TLC Network, which is a wonderful resource in our community for holistic health practitioners. So that's great. So we're going to wrap up in a minute, but do you have any closing thoughts that you would like to share with our audience tonight?
I just want to tell people that we need our hormones because they protect us from many diseases. They keep our mind and body functioning. They're completely safe when properly prescribed. And the most important, help is available. You don't have to suffer. You're not alone.
Yeah, that's a wonderful message. Yeah, so I would say to our audience also to spread that message, to spread that word and get the word out there more. If you have a friend or a neighbor or a relative who might benefit, it's not that we're only trying to, promote your service personally,
of course,
but just the whole idea of it.
Absolutely.
Although we will show your contact info. So if people have any questions, can they call you, contact
Absolutely,
you?
And I offer a free phone consultation.
So free consultation?
Free consultation. They can ask me any questions they want.
That's great. So they can go to your website, which we're going to show at the end.
Right, and schedule a free phone consultation from my website. So I'm more than happy to help.
Well, that's wonderful. Well, thank you so much for being on the show tonight, Tatiana.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's really great to get to know you.
It's my pleasure.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
Yeah, and thanks to our audience for joining us tonight on this episode of Spiritual Connection Show with Dr. Fleischman. I hope you enjoyed meeting her as much as I did and learning all about her important work that she does. So see you on the next episode. Thanks again, and namaste, blessings, and good night.